All right, now is the time to talk about user interface design. So yeah, I'm going to just briefly explain the characteristics, actually the for the user interface design. All right, in this class, because this is not the class to explain how to design the interface seriously. Okay, anyway, so interface design process include 5 steps: use scenario development, interface structure design, interface standard design, interface design prototyping, interface evaluation. And then there are feedback, and then here is the loop, okay? And user scenario development, okay? User scenario development. So here, user scenario, the browsing shopper, and then user is not sure what they want to buy and will browse through the several tunes. So basically, you need to address this kind of scenario. And user scenario, another user scenario, hurry up shopper. So we have two shoppers types, right? Shopper types, and then users know exactly what he or she want it quickly. So and then according to the two types, and we have a flow, right? And you remember that these numbers are addressed in the what? Previous DFD, data flow diagram, right? So yeah, so this scenario use case, basically this is developed based on the user case, right? And use case is what is connected to the data flow diagram, right? So in your project, so after this class, and then at the end of the semester, you will have a time to complete the term project as a team. And then I hope that you can take this kind of step to develop the software. Okay, that's the goal of this class. I want to see how you develop the software using the through the this kind of standardized steps. All right. And interface structure design is like this. So there is a main menu, and then we have 3 menus: menu A, menu B, and menu C. And so this is just example, okay? And then under the A, we have A, B, F, okay? Form A, Form B, and report F. Also under B, menu B, there is a form J and report L, and then K, and here's a link, so so customer can move from form B to form J, okay? Also, we have form X, for report Y, and report Z under the menu C, all right? So something like that. And then also, you can define the metaphor, template, object, actions, icons, okay, as well in your interface. And here you can design the prototype of the interface, and this is a storyboard. And here we have client, so this is a client menu, and the add client, find client, list client. So if you add client, there is add client, and then you can show the actually the not exact design, but what kind of content can be shown in this menu. And then find client menu, include this information, client list, include this information, something like that. Okay, so that's what you call storyboard. Right? So now you can see the examples, right? And also, based on the storyboard, you can also develop the HTML prototype as well. And in this class, yes, I'm going to ask you to develop the HTML prototype, which is empty web page with this kind of menus, forms, basically. All right, using GUI. And also the language prototype, so empty GUI in Java or VB.NET. So we are going to use the empty GUI, okay, in Java. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not HTML. Yeah, it's empty GUI in Java, okay? Sorry. So anyway, but it's quite similar. You can use HTML, okay, you can develop the empty web page, right? All right, and then once you have an interface, and then there are multiple ways to evaluate the interface. One is a heuristic evaluation, so you can use a checklist. Also, walkthrough evaluation. You can have a meeting, okay, with customers or clients or the testers. And interactive evaluation. So users work with HTML or language prototype in one-on-one sessions with members of the project team. So this is a very difficult and challenging, right? But you can get the clearly you can get the comments right away, right? Right after this session. And formal usability testing. So professional, you can hire someone basically to test the interface. Okay, so each one of user session can take 1 or 2 days to analyze due to the volume of the data collected in the computer logs and the video tapes. So basically this is more professional. All right, and then design form and report. So system input and output are produced at the end of the analysis phase, and precise appearance was not defined during this phase, and forms and reports are integrally related to the DFD and ER diagram. Definitely, you cannot just randomly develop the interface or forms and report, right? And here is a form and report, okay? And a business document, a form is a business document basically, containing some predefined data and may include some of our area where additional data are to be filled in, okay? An instance of the form typically based on the database record. And report is a business document that contains only predefined data, and also it is a passive document for reading or viewing data. And actually the form is more active, right? The users can type the sum of data, right? Using this form. And report typically contains data from the many database record and transactions. So this is more like a document, right? All right, and then user-focused activity follow the prototype approach, and then also requirement and determination. So you need to think about these 5 questions. Who will use the form or report? What is the purpose of the form or report? When is the report needed or used? Where does the form or report needed to be delivered, used? How many people need to use or view the form of the report, form or report, okay? And we have prototyping, so you can develop the initial prototype, right, based on the requirement, and users review prototype design and either accept or give you the additional request, right? And if changes are requested, the construction evaluation request cycle is repeated until the design is accepted. So right, so it's a kind of hard, right? So to meet the users need basically. And deliverables and outcomes. Design specification are major deliverable and contain 3 sections: narrative, section screen design, testing, and usability assessment. And also you can utilize highlighting, so use spellingly to draw the users to were away from the certain information. Blinking and audible tones should only be used to highlight the critical information requiring users' immediate attention. So don't highlight too many things, okay? Methods should be consistently selected and used based upon level of the importance or emphasized information. So here, method highlighting, we have multiples, okay? You can choose a size, font, or you can choose a box, you can use a box, and so on, right? And form, here's an example of the form of the several type of highlighting are used. So here we have an example. Bold font, okay? Change the size of font, okay, to get the attention from the user, something like that. And then, right? And boxing, you can have a box, and intense difference, and so on. And displaying text. Actually, user interface design is very challenging, okay? So next one item, displaying text. Display text in mixed upper or lower cases, and use a conventional function and punctuation. Use double spacing if the space permit. If not, place a blank line between paragraphs. So this is just a typical guideline, okay? Left justify text and leave a right margin. Do not hyphenate word between lines, and use abbreviations and acronyms only when they are widely understood by users, because some of users cannot understand the acronyms, the meaning of acronym. That's why, okay, like AKA, right? You cannot understand the meaning of this, right? So something like that. And these are significantly shorter than the full text. Displaying the table and also list labels. All columns and rows should have a meaningful labels. And labels should be separated from other information by using highlighting, displaying labels when the data extends beyond a single screen or page, and formatting columns and row and text. Okay, sorting in meaningful order, of course, and every 5 rows in a long column. So you need to have a blank line. Okay, uh, and then column should have at least 2 spaces between them, and those things. Use a single typeface except for the emphasis and so on. Okay, please read these guidelines. Okay, when you format the columns, row, and text. Numeric texture upon numerical data actually can also follow this guideline, okay, for their format. And let me just read the one thing. So break long sequences of alphabetical data into small groups of 3 or 4 characters each. So basically, these guidelines developed based on the historical experiment, okay, human in the loop experiment, basically. So that's why it's better to follow it. And here, improved form design. So now we have this design, okay, and so from this design, now you can improve the layout like this. So if you use a box and highlight it, also the shape of some of the shape or arrow and so on, and then basically the users can clearly understand the actual all the information here, right? Page number, today, and date, right? However, if you look at this one, and then here although same information is included in this form, but it's kind of hard to read it, right? So that's why it's very important to design the visible and then understandable interface. Also, here is a tabular report illustrating the good report design guidelines. So you can follow this kind of design when you develop the report. Okay. Let me continue the explanation about the user interface design. So in this part, I'm going to talk about the dialogue and also interface. So in this case, it's basically you need to focus on how information is provided to and captured from the users, because you are using an interface to exchange the information between user and then system, right? So that's why. So dialogues are analogous to a conversation between two people, basically. A good human-computer interface, HCI actually, provide a unifying structure for finding, viewing, and invoking the different components of the system, basically. And I will give you an example to you. A user-focused activity. So, and yeah, you can focus on the user-focused activity and parallels from the report design process. Parallel form and report design process also employs prototype methodology if it is possible. So, for example, collect information, construct a prototype, assess usability, make a refinement. And several deliverables. So basically, the design specifications. So it can be narrative, sample design, testing and usability assessment, and when you design the layout, and you can actually utilize a standardized format, okay, which is quite similar to paper-based forms and reports, all right. And screen navigation on data entry screens should be left to the right and top to the bottom as on paper form, because that's a nature of the human, right? When we read the text, and usually we read the text from the left to the right, right? And then read the contents from the top to the bottom, right? So in this direction. So that's why. And flexibility and consistency are primary design goal. So because you cannot really combine the several different layouts, okay, over the multiple dialogues. So because people or user are quite familiar with the specific design, okay. So that's why design should be consistent, okay. So users should be able to move freely between field, and then data should not be permanently saved until the user explicitly requests this, and each key and command should be assigned to the one function. All right, so this is just guideline. Okay. All right, so when you also the structuring the data, and you can consider these things. Entry never require data that are already online or that can be computed. Default always provide default value when appropriate so that users can have a basic idea about the input. Okay, and unit make clear the type of data unit request for entry. Replacement use a character replacement when appropriate, and captioning. So always place a caption adjacent to field. Format provide formatting examples. Justify automatically justify data entries. And help provide context sensitive help when appropriate. Okay, you can consider these 8. Okay, the subject when you structure data entry. Right, contouring data input. One object of interface design is to reduce the data entry errors. A lot of the system analyst is to anticipate user errors. Yes, that's what we need to do, right? And design features into the system's interfaces to avoid. That's why you may want to provide some default value as an input so that user can have a basic idea about the input, okay, or data entry, and avoid, detect, and correct the data entry mistakes. All right, so these are the typical data errors. So appending, truncating, and transcripting, and also transposing. And also you can detect the data errors. Okay, utilizing this validating tests. So class and composition, combination, expected value, missing data feature, picture, a template, range, reasonableness, self-checking digits, size, values, and so on. Okay, so you can consider these things. And providing help. So when you decide to provide help, and then you can place yourself in the user's place when designing help. So here are the guidelines: simplicity, organization, and demonstrate. So help messages should be short and to the point. Okay, you don't have to put a really lengthy explanation about a certain menu. Information in help messages should be easily observed by users. It is useful to explicitly show users how to perform an operation. And status information. So keep users informed of what is going on in the system. Displaying this status information is especially important if the operation takes longer than a second or two, right? And prompting cues. Best to keep as specific as possible. Yeah, that's a clue, right? So error and warning messages. Messages should be specific and free of error code and jargon. Users should be guided toward the result rather than scolded. Okay, scolded. Sorry. User terms familiar to user and be constant in format and placement of the messages. So it's actually although I explained the several guidelines for different menus, but most of them are quite redundant, right? So you need to, if you have a clear idea, or if you provide a clear idea about a certain menu, or if you just provide consistent format, and then definitely users can easily follow your form or document, right? All right, so context-sensitive help enables users to get field-specific help, and users should always be returned to where they were when requesting help. So that's why so when you use a software, you can see the help menu all the time, right? And what about dialogue? So dialogue also, or dialogue of the interface structure diagram, basically ISD. So sequence in which information is displayed to and obtained from a user. Primarily, design guideline is consistency. See, in the sequence of actions, keystrokes, and terminology. So there are three-step processes. and there is a three-step process, and design dialog sequence, build a prototype, assess usability. Okay, and define the sequence, have a clear understanding of the users, task, technological, and environmental characteristics. And dialog diagram is a formal method actually for designing and representing human-computer dialogues using box and line diagram. Okay, and it consists of the box with three sections: top, middle, bottom. Okay, it has three sections. And this is an example of the dialog diagram. So here, screen logon screen, okay, and then main menu, and then under the main menu, there are four, one, two, three, four, right? So individual customer information, order status, and then salesperson information and report. So based on your website actual design, it can have multiple, okay? It can have less actually menu dialogues under this main menu. And anyway, so under this individual customer information, it has a select customer and the customer information, and then subsections, basically subsections of the customer information. All right. All right, so these actually when you try to develop the dialogue, and then you can actually develop this kind of dialogue diagram, okay, for the system development. So before you develop something, it's better to have a diagram to summarize all the major menus, okay? Because developing the certain interface actually takes a really long time. So before you actually do that, before you put some effort, and definitely it's better to have a conceptual model or the diagram, right? Structure diagram. All right, so please develop this kind of diagram before you develop the actual software. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much about this chapter, and let's move on to the homework. So in this section, I'm going to give you another homework actually, which is about the user interface design. All right. Right. So let's go back to the TuneSource actually case. All right. Let me explain this one. So in the TuneSource case, there are three different user interfaces to be designed: process 1 and process 2 and process 3. Remember that, right? And in this exercise, we focused only on the process 1. Okay. And web portion used by the customer to find the tunes of the interest. That's the role of the first actually process, right? Search and browse the tunes. So we have search and browse the tunes here, and then purchase tunes and the promo tunes, right? So TuneSource level 0 DFD. This is a DFD, right? Data flow diagram, as you know. You remember this, right? All right. And then level 1 DFD for the TuneSource, actually the process 1. Okay. So this process includes the load website, process search request, and the process tune selection, right? And utilize a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data sources, right? And entity is customer. So let's look at the use scenario development. So section 1. The first step in the interface design process was to develop the key use scenarios, okay? Use case analysis, right? So for the digital music download system, Jason Moore, senior system analyst at TuneSource and the project manager for the digital music download system, began by examining the DFD and thinking about the types of the users and how they would interact with the system. Yeah, you don't have to think too much about it because he actually already thought about it. So as discussed previously, Jason identified two use scenarios: the browsing shopper and hurry up shopper. So two types of the shoppers, right? Browsing shopper and then hurry up shopper, right? And then their actions are quite different, right? We already looked at this one, right? Jason also thought about several other use scenarios for websites in general, but he omitted them because they were not common. Okay, so that's why we only consider the two common cases. Okay, here. Likewise, he thought of the several user scenarios that did not lead to sales. Hmm? Fans looking for information about their favorite artists and music, and he omitted them as well because what? Not lead to sales, right? Because we are developing the website to make money basically, right? To sell the tune, right? Music, right? So as they were not important in design of the website. Got it. So interface structure design. So now is actually talking about the interface design. Okay. So interface structure design. Initially, you can actually draw the initial the structure. Okay, of the interface. So next, Jason. Jason created an interface structure diagram (ISD) for the web system. He began with the DFDs to ensure that all functionalities defined for the system was included in the ISD. Figure 9-18 shows this figure, the ISD for the web portion of the process 1. In practice, some of the processes on the level 1 DFD for this part of the system might be decomposed into several level 2 DFDs. However, to keep things simple, in this exercise we should an ISD that linked to the level 1 DFD in figure 5-18. So this is a 9-18 and the 5-18. I'm not going to give you this one. So it was including the previous actually exercise. Let us attempt to create more DFDs and link the ISD to them. Anyway, so you can just look at this one. So we have main menu, and then we have three functions: search for tune, browse by genre, and then also the web promotions, right? And under the three actions, we have also sub actions as well, right? Okay. The initial interface structure design. The digital music download system will have a main menu or homepage that will enable the users to initiate the search, which would allow the user to enter search criteria to produce a list of tunes based on tune, artist, or composer, or to view the user's favorite list. The homepage would also have a browse feature that would enable the user to select the music genre and then produce a list of tunes within that genre. The homepage would also have links to web promotions that would lead to the list of the popular tunes, newly added tunes, or web special promotion. Okay, you can check the numbers from this figure. Got it? Okay, and each of these lists of the tunes would enable the users to click on a specific tune title and view detailed information about it, and listen to the music samples. Okay, and Jason decided to provide the additional marketing materials on a separate page rather than including them on the main entry for each tune to prevent overcrowding and long time delays on the web. Both tune page and additional material page will let the users listen to the sample. Got it? And then put the tunes on the user's favorite list and add to it the shopping cart. The users could then return to home page to enter a new search. You got it? So this is what? Initial interface structure design, and then you can, so actually this is an explanation about the interface design. Got it? So explanation about this figure. You can see the number, right? And 1.2, 1.2, right? Those things were where? So here and here, right? Okay. So section 4, reviewing the interface structure design. Jason then examined the use scenario to see how well the ISD enabled different types of users to work through the system. He started with the browsing shopper, browsing shopper scenario and followed it through the ISD. Imagine that Imagine what would appear on each screen and pretending to navigate through the system. He found that the ISD worked well. Jason next explored the hurry up shopper scenario. In this case, the ISD did not work as well. Moving from the home page to the search page to the list of matching tunes to the tune info page with the price and other information takes what? Take 3 mouse clicks. This falls within the 3-click rule, but for someone hurry, this may be too many. Got it? So found the error basically. Jason decided to add a quick search option to the home page, and that would enable actually it's not error, but what? But it's an inconvenience, so that's why Jason decided to develop another menu, okay, like a quick search. So to the home page, that would enable the users enter one search criterion. That with one click, would take the users to the one tune that matches the criterion, okay, or to the list of the tunes if there were more than one. This would enable an impatient user, so in a hurry, the users in a hurry situation, okay, impatient user to get to the tune of interest in 1 or 2 clicks. All right, so interface standard design. Let's look at this. Once ISD was completed, Jason moved on to the development interface standard for the system. The interface metaphor was straightforward. A tune source, retail music store. The key interface object and actions were equally straightforward, as was the use of the tune source logo icon. Where is it? So this is one, right? So interface metaphor, a tune source, music store, interface object, so tune, artist, title, composer, music genre, tune list, favorite list, shopping cart, interface action, search for, browse, buy, download, interface icon, tune source logo. Got it? So you need to have this kind of summary. So this is the interface standard, okay? And interface template design. Once you have a standard, and then you're really ready to design the interface, right? So template design. For the interface template, Jason decided on a simple, clean design that had the tune source logo in the upper left corner. So this logo, okay? The template had a navigation menu across the top for the navigation within the entire website. And one menu down the side of the page for the navigation within the digital music download system. And the left edge menu, so basically it's explaining about all the actually layout here. All right. The left edge menu contains the links to the 3 top level screens, as well as a quick search option. The center area of the screen is used for the displaying form and report when appropriate link is clicked. So this part, display area, okay. And see figure 2-20, so this figure. At this point, Jason decided to seek quick feedback on the interface structure and standards before investing time in prototype the interface design. Therefore, he met with colleague Edward, the project sponsor, to discuss emerging design. Market changes at this point would be much simpler than waiting until after doing the prototype. Carly has a few suggestions, so after the meeting, Jason made the changes and moved into the design prototyping step. So that's why, I mean, at the end of semester, you will have a chance to develop the software, okay, with the interface. So in that case, yes, please discuss your design with your teammates, okay? So many people usually give the better idea, okay? Design prototyping. Jason decided to use Visio to create a prototype of the system. And because it's a what? This is a what? Just a prototype, right? Empty web page, right? The digital music download system was a new territory for TuneSource and strategic investment in a new business model. So it was important to make sure no key issues were overlooked. That's why he has to develop the prototype. The prototypes would provide the most detailed information and could be developed rapidly. And once satisfied with the layout, Jane planned to create the HTML prototypes that would be used to test the interface interactively, right? Because they are going to develop the website, so they need to develop the HTML prototype at the end. Jason began designing a prototype stating that starting with the home screen and generally work his way through all screens. The process was very interactive and he made many changes to screens as he worked. Once he had an initial prototype designed and he posted it on the TuneSource, the initial intranet, right? And solicited comments from several friends with lots of the web experience. So this can be shared by just random people, right? He revised it according to the comments he received. So figure 21, I think this one. So is what presents some screens from the prototype. All right. So this is the updated one. List by artist, list, and then this is the information for one tune. All right. And evaluation. So once you have the interface, definitely you need to conduct evaluation. Next step was the interface evaluation. Jason decided on the two-phase evaluation. First phase evaluation was to be interactive one conducted by Carly Edward, her marketing manager, selected staff members, and selected store managers. So internal evaluation basically. They worked hands-on with the prototype and identified several ways to improve it. Jason modified the HTML prototype to reflect the changes suggested by the group and asked the colleague to review it again. And the second evaluation was again interactive. This time performed by a series of the focus groups, okay, potential customers. So now is a external evaluation, right? One with the little internet experience and the other with the extensive internet experience, and once again several minor changes were identified. Jason again modified the HTML prototype and asked Carly to review it some more. So when she was satisfied, the interface design was complete. So this is the end of project basically for the interface design. You got it? Hopefully you have a good idea and now you understand the procedure to finalize the interface. Okay, so in this example, in this exercise, I'm going to ask you to draw a sample interface shown in figure 9-22 in Java. Okay, so this one is way simpler than the previous one. However, I just want to test you. Okay, so I want to check whether or not you know how to use Java Eclipse and then develop the interface. So here is a tutorial for you. Okay, please follow this tutorial and then develop this interface. Got it? All right, so in order to develop this interface, and you need to download and install the Java Eclipse. And here's the link to download the Java development toolkit. Okay, the IDE, and then here is a YouTube video for the installation of the Java Eclipse. So please watch it and then follow the instruction. And at the end, you need to complete the Hello World example to test whether or not your code is written in Java runs smoothly without any problem. And it's okay to work this one as a team, okay? Because you already know your team member, right? So please help each other to complete the individual assignment. This is an individual assignment. And then run the Eclipse. So once you have the any, you don't have any issue, and then you can run the Eclipse. So for example, if you have it and then Eclipse, right? I have Eclipse too, right? So Eclipse IDE. You may want to use a different version, but yeah, I have this version. And also, once you have Eclipse installed, and then you need to, and by the way, please test Hello World example. Got it? Otherwise, you will have an error when you compile your code. All right, so step 3, install window builder. I have an explanation. So if you go to help and then Eclipse marketplace, and then you can actually choose a window builder. So it's a GUI. So you can develop basically this interface using GUI, GUI. Okay. So here, and after the installation, you should restart Eclipse, create a new project like a sample GUI, and then here I already addressed how to create a new project here. So you can just follow this instructions, so sample GUI here, right? And next, and then on the name of the project, I already have a sample GUI here. So under that, you can click the left button. So from this one, okay, click the left button, the left, right, yes. So right button, basically, I'm sorry, the right button, so that you can have this shortcut menu, and then there is a new menu, okay, and the new, under the new, there's the other option. And select the window builder and swing designer. Here, window builder, swing under the window builder, and then we have swing designer, and then there is our application window. All right, and click next, and then type this name, package ISD, example ISD, okay, and then finish it. So click the design tab. So if you click the finish, and then you will have a project, okay. So now you are ready to develop the form, actually layout, using the disk palette here, okay, and here is the form. Got it? So you can just drag and drop the each component in here. And before you do that, actually you need to do the what? You need to actually change the property of the form initially. So we are going to use the absolute layout, the GUI, okay, form here. And whenever you put the component inside of this form, and then Java code will be written for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Very convenient tool, okay? And now you can assign the items, so label and like a drop down menu and so on. So please make this kind of interface, and submit the screenshot of your interface to me, not the source code, okay? So image will be enough, okay? Take a screenshot of your screen, and then especially this interface, and then submit it to the class, and that's it. So it won't be very difficult for you. Got it? So now we have actual coding now, right? And next time we will have advanced programming using Java. Thank you.